For most guys, understanding your typical girl is kind of like trying to understand the meaning of life. And over the years, some of the things that I have learned about girls have been nothing short of shocking. Now, what you are about to learn in this video are some of those things. So with that said, let's get right into it. Number 1, girls get an emotional high just from talking. Something that is really fascinating are the differences in neurophysiology between males and females. How many of you have been talking to a girl for longer than a minute or so? And during that time, it almost seems as if the longer that you talk to her, the more that her mood begins to change and become more and more positive. And at some point, you started to get the sense that, or you assumed that she was under the influence of some type of drug. When you consider how a girl's brain works, this assumption isn't really that far-fetched. In fact, as girls communicate with someone, their brain literally releases special chemicals that provide a sort of euphoria, or what you would call a high. And the crazy part about this is that this so-called high actually lasts for quite a while after the conversation has ended. So why does this matter? It matters because guys are always wondering what the best way is to attract a girl, and the answer is through conversation. Holding a deep, lengthy conversation with a girl has a far more powerful effect on a girl's view of you than almost any other aspect of your appearance or wealth or anything like that. And the same effect occurs within the brains of men, but to a far lesser extent. This is why girls can sit and talk to each other for literally hours at a time, and it's because they are quite literally getting a high off of talking. Number 2, girls are influenced by how they feel rather than what they think. Now, this is something that I learned that forever changed how I think about females and attraction. This can be a hard one to grasp because as men, we tend to navigate the world primarily through the lens of logic, whereas females tend to navigate the world primarily with emotions. Now, this isn't to say that females cannot think logically, because they definitely can, and some girls actually do think more like men using primarily logic. But as a general rule, the more feminine that a girl is, or the more quote-unquote girly that she is, the more likely it is that she will view the world through the lens of emotions. So why is this important? This is important because it means that pretty much all behavior from a girl is influenced by how she feels and not so much by how she logically thinks about something. Let me give you an example. Imagine you walk up to a girl and you're holding a piece of paper that has all of your accomplishments in life and everything that you think is amazing about you. And so what you do is you run down the list, explaining to her in a logical way why you are a good catch. And maybe you really are a good catch, and you have a long list of reasons of why she should like you. But guess what? None of that will matter if you can't make her feel something for you. This is why you see so many guys who are on paper complete losers, yet they are still able to get with girls that many far more qualified men simply cannot get with. And it all comes down to the guy who can make her feel something for him or feel attracted to him. 99% of problems between men and women, whether it's attraction related or even just trivial things like when she thought you were paying more attention to her friend than you were her, can almost always be attributed to the differences between the logic or the way that men and women think when they are trying to solve problems with each other. Whenever girls have problems, they try to solve these problems with emotions and by talking about them, whereas men are more likely to solve their problems primarily using logic. So what this means is that if you are interested in making girls attracted to you, the key is how you make them feel. As a general rule, pretty much all girls are concerned the most with how they feel in any given moment. So if they are feeling good when they are around you, they will in most cases attribute those positive emotions to you, as if you were the one that caused them. This is why guys who have bad social anxiety find it exceptionally hard to make girls feel attracted to them, because a state of anxiety or state of nervousness is something that is contagious. So when you're around girls who are naturally far more receptive to your body language than guys are, and therefore your inner mental state, displaying anxiety around them makes them feel anxiety, which is a negative emotion, and girls simply do not like feeling negative emotions, unless they are a special type of girl, but that's a topic for another video. Now next up is the third craziest thing that I've ever learned about girls, and it is that girls actually communicate using a secret language. Some people would call this sub-communication, while others might call it passive communication. But either way you slice it, it is fundamentally different than the way that guys communicate with each other. And the more that you understand this secret language, the better off you will be as a man in pretty much any situation involving females. So the ways that girls communicate are inherently passive, or in other words, they tend to communicate in an indirect kind of way. So if you were to walk up to a girl that you like and you were to tell her point blank that she should come and do something fun with you sometime, and then she turns to you and says, "No thanks, I have a boyfriend," most of the time she most likely doesn't actually have a boyfriend. And this is simply an easy way to tell you without directly telling you that she is not interested. But this form of communication, or this secret language, goes far deeper than simply words. Girls communicate using this language not just with words, but also with their behavior. This is why when they like you, they will leave tiny little clues or body language signs that tell you without actually telling you that they like you. And this sort of secret language serves several purposes, but most importantly, it shields the girl from being labeled by others in a negative way. Since pretty much the beginning of mankind, society has not looked favorably upon females who overtly show that they are attracted to a man, because it comes off as being overly sleazy and, to be frank, desperate. Understanding this subtle but incredibly important secret language that girls use completely changed how I interact with them forever. You see, men who have great value are able to understand this secret language and use it to their advantage. And in the simplest example that I can think of, understanding that females communicate in an indirect, passive way allows us guys to take a hint, so to speak, where other men are not able to. Or it allows us to understand the true meaning or the hidden meaning behind something that a girl is saying to us, whereas other guys who don't understand this language would only be able to comprehend the face value of what a girl is saying to them. I remember a long time ago, I had a breakup with a girl, and when I kept trying to get her to tell me in a direct way why this happened, she just kept speaking in what was at the time like a foreign language to me. And later, once I understood this secret language, I understood what she was really saying, or the hidden meaning behind her words. And boy, did that suck, but I'm over it now. See, girls are always speaking using this secret language, and more often than not, it is when they are speaking with other girls. And the more that you are able to understand it, but not necessarily speak it, the better off you will be. Next up is the fourth craziest thing that I've ever learned about girls, and it is that many things with girls are completely paradoxical. One of the most shocking things that I learned about females is that because of the way that they think and behave, most of the things that involve them are a complete paradox. For example, many guys repeatedly try to get girls to make decisions for them, such as where they're going to eat for the day or what they're going to do for fun. And in thinking about this, logically, it would make sense to ask a girl what she wants to do. And you can definitely do this, but ultimately, she actually wants you to make the final decision. One of the greatest paradoxes when it comes to females is the paradox of chasing them. Because logically, as men, it makes sense that we should chase girls, because after all, haven't we been doing that for thousands of years? Yet, whenever you pursue a woman repeatedly to the point where you are always the one texting her, or you're always the one chasing after her attention, paradoxically, this actually makes her less and less attracted to you. And it also makes her want to run away from you. Another similar paradox involving females is resources. For many thousands of years, many men have offered resources to women in exchange for their love or for other things, kind of as a way to sort of buy their love from them. And it's no secret that women are, from a biological and evolutionary perspective, seeking to get plenty of resources, because resources are needed to have children and to ensure their own safety and security. Yet, when you offer a woman too many resources, instead of her becoming increasingly attracted to you, paradoxically, she ends up becoming increasingly unattracted to you. Another final example is when a girl says that she wants a nice guy, but then you find out that she's actively dating men who are complete jerks. These are some of the craziest paradoxes that I've ever discovered involving women. And this has been 4 of the most shocking things that I've ever learned about girls. And the better that you get at understanding these things, the better off you will be, not just in the short term, but over the entirety of your lifetime. And until next time, thanks for watching.